Well, hello there. It's me, Robo Trader. We got more Top Cut action here. Been a long day here in America. Long day. You know, Vika is a Canadian player. I hear the weather's nice there this time of year. Might be nice to be living there at this moment. But right now we got Vika and Eroth here. Here's the bracket. No update since this morning. Here's the list. This is Eroth's Sabine deck. He's playing Sabine yellow. It looks like he's got a couple new cards in there. He's got the Plo Koon instead of Poe. Could be interesting if that Plo starts hitting base for 6. That could be big. He's got the Sabine unit in there, so we'll see if that ends up impacting things. And then also R2. R2 is just a great starter for this card, and the Wolfpack Escort. So, I mean, that could, you could have some crazy combos with that, and like Falcon, for instance. So, I'm excited to see how this new Sabine deck performs in Twilight Republic, and this is Vika's Anakin list. Vika actually bringing a new leader to the tournament. Not something that everyone does, but Vika's done it, and he's got one of the more unique lists of the tournament. This is kind of a mid-rangey Anakin deck that I think is trying to use Anakin to value trade with things like Val and Queel and Yoda. And you're running a lot of the good blue-red removal, hand control cards like Pillage and Force Throw. Looks like he's only got one Pillage main and then 2 more in the sideboard. And he's on the I'm not actually sure what the name of that card is. Hammerhead Corvette, I think. So that one's gonna be interesting. It's also hand control, but it's just a big thing. He's got Steel Guerreras in the sideboard. We'll see if those end up making an appearance. But I'm excited to see how this one works. It can be kind of aggressive. It can also go to the late game. It looks like he's not on things like Crate Dragons or like anything higher than Luke, which I kind of expected him to be on, but we'll see. How this might be end up similar to like the Han Blue deck, but he's not running a lot of the late game cards, so I think it's a more aggressive version of that archetype. But I think in this matchup, he's definitely going to be the control, as this Sabine deck is going to be very aggro. Okay, it looks like we're having some TTS issues. Always happens a little bit at the start of the new format. I'm just gonna get the camera angle set up perfectly here while they resolve that. I think this is pretty close to straight. Oh, it's reprints. It looks like that's the issue. Interesting. All right. I guess I should fill this air with something. We can talk a bit about the bracket and some of the different decks that people brought. We had actually 3 different Sabine yellows, and this is the first one of them to get played. And we also, in addition, saw Sabine green. So people are going back to the old classic at the start of the format. She's dependable. She does damage, and she does get some new interesting stuff from set 3. So not a bad pick, I think. Although I still think the green version is just better, but yeah, I don't know. We do have some other interesting decks. A couple new people. Anakin. There's actually 2 different Anakins. There's a yellow one and a blue one. If you want to take a look at all the lists, by the way, they're linked in the description on Substack. So take a look at those if you want. We had a couple people bringing back Boba as well, one of which has already secured a spot in the top 8. We saw an updated Krennic deck, which looks really interesting to me. Krennic actually got some pretty interesting new support, especially that Naboo Royal Guard, which is basically a 3/3. Which is something those control decks have desperately wanted for a while. And it's up against fellow Willamette Valley player, Rebel Trooper, on IG88 ECL. All right. All right, looks like we're getting started here. They're saying that I'm probably sleepy. I kind of am sleepy, but you know, all things taken into account, I'm actually doing fine. What are we waiting on? Not pegging, am I? Okay, no. All right, here we go. And it looks like my camera angle was not quite straight. Oh, that's still not quite straight. I'm gonna be a perfectionist about this. That's probably as close as we're gonna get realistically. All right. And it looks like, I think the way I rolled, Eroth is going to start with initiative here. And he's got a couple different plays you can go for. You can go for L3 or A-Wang. And then on the next turn, you can play whichever one he doesn't play this turn, plus that Cartel Turncoat. And it's going to be the A-Wing. Vika responds going to ground with Queel. I don't know how many cards are hits for Vika. It can't be a ton, but it should be a decent amount. Certainly not as much as the Raid X, but I mean, any kind of card cycling is good. All right, Eroth is just gonna swing into that base with the A-Wing before committing to anything. It looks like Vika is looking at bringing out this Yoda, which is pretty strong into the aggro matchup, being able to get that restore going. Although there is also an argument for bringing out Cassian here, especially because is Anakin +1 or +2? I think it's +2, right? Yeah, +2. So Cassian with the Anakin ability would be able to just kill Sabine immediately. Although, let's see, and you take 2 damage, yeah. So it's not like an amazing trade, but it is a trade. And the Queel attack actually does hit here, picking up another copy of Queel for Vika, which is probably just going to be a resource. But card draw is card draw. And the play is going to be Yoda. Or not? All right, yeah, and while Vika's going to ground, Eroth is lining up this space arena. 3 big units. Vika does have a Razor Crest in hand, which can start hitting them back. Also with this Anakin's Interceptor, but the Interceptor as a 2/3 doesn't really do much here. If Vika can establish a Razor Crest and clean up some of these space units, that could actually be massive because the restore is going to add up too. All right, this is the Sabine flip turn for Eroth. Vika doesn't have a way to immediately kill it using the Anakin because he went for Yoda instead of Cassian. But, oh, Vika actually has initiative here. So he's just going to lead with the Yoda and start getting that restore in. The Yoda plus the Queel just attacking, like, basically negates that A-Wing attack. As awkward as it seems, I think like Vika's play is probably just gonna be this Razor Crest, even though it's not getting any upgrades back. Or I mean, maybe if I don't know if there's like non-blue upgrades in Vika's deck. I don't think there are any. But hypothetically, if he attacked with Queel and get one. All right, Vika just passes here. I think he wants to hit Sabine with this Queel. And this was, you know, as opportune a time as any to pass. And yeah, there's the Razor Crest. That's this is one of those like higher level things in Unlimited is you know, advanced dirtling techniques. Basically. When should you pass and when should you use your dirtle action? And Vika's now taken all the actions he really needs to this round, and so he'd be advantaged if we wanted to do a round. So he can feel free to pass with impunity. And interesting, he's going to burn the Queel here, probably because those resources were spent on the Sabine unit, so Eroth wouldn't feel as bad about flipping the Sabine here. And Vika's starting to really get the card advantage started. He's now drawn 2 cards off this Queel. He's going to value trade one of these units with the Razor Crest. Even though he is probably going to fall behind on damage a little bit, it's not going to be by that much because of these restore units. So I like Vika's position here. Even though it might look like he's a bit behind, I don't think he is. And even I don't even know if it looks like he's behind. Like if you're just looking at this, you see like, you know, 3 units to 4 even damage. Vika's a control deck. That looks fine. Eroth does decide to take initiative here instead of deploying the Sabine. I will say though, Vika's hand is lacking removal right now, so he's having to use units to trade into everything, and that's awkward with what he's got set up right now. Keep in mind the Anakin ability allows one of these 2 ground units to trade into that Sabine, the forecast Sabine. At a little bit of a cost. All right, it looks like Sabine is just going to clear the Yoda. Try to get some of that card advantage back. And she is that from deck, right? Discard card from your deck. Doesn't share an aspect with your base. Deal 2 damage to ground unit. Does unfortunately share an aspect here. So no damage off that Sabine. And there's the Razor Crest getting the trade onto the thing. She can't be attacked. Am I missing some other ability? Oh yeah, she can't be attacked while she's exhausted. So yeah, that's another big thing here is attacking there prevents the counterattack. All right, and we're going to see Fleet Lieutenant come in to take out this Razor Crest. So the Razor Crest goes 2 for 1 here, and also eats this Fleet Lieutenant ability. So I think if you're Vika, you're happy with what it did. And it looks like now he's going to take this opportunity to develop some more units. We've got Cassian here, and then either Val or the Interceptor in space. And it's going to be the Interceptor. Now keep in mind this Eroth's leader has not flipped yet. All right, and the Queel goes to base here and gets a Luke. That's pretty big, although it won't be live for a couple of turns. And there's a Sabine flip. And Vika managed to contain this turn pretty well, only taking 3 damage beyond what he was at the start of the turn. And clearing 2 units. All right, here's an R2-D2. Going to refresh the hand of Eroth a little bit. Now, I mean, Vika's hand is all units, so he does have a lot of cards, but it's not super easy to convert them into actual board advantage at this point. And Eroth picks up a surprise strike. That's reach. Art is a great card. Some people have been saying he's like the best card in the game now. Although I think that rhetoric has toned down a little bit over the past couple of weeks. But anyway, we're going now into 6 resources, which is the Anakin flip turn. And Eroth does decide to resource here, going up to 6. Which I think is a fine decision. Even though he's only going to be able to use 4 this turn. And Vika's just going to lead with Cassian attack into that Sabine while she is ready. Fleet Lieutenant going to value trade into the Queel. Stop that card advantage from coming. And it looks like we might see the first Anakin trigger of the game here, probably to deal with this cartel turncoat. Or maybe just a flip. And yeah, it's just a flip. And this Anakin is going to be a 5/7, which is big enough to clear the Sabine. This is a difficult position for Eroth. Looks like he's just going to go Sabine to the base, which I think makes sense. It might seem like you want to play the surprise strike here, but playing it actually turns on this Anakin's interceptor, which is not really what you want to be doing. Anakin is going to clear the R2. Should be one overwhelm. Or two? Oh, it's 5 damage, not 10. And L337 coming out of the resource row here is interesting. And here comes Vika with a play, and it looks like it's going to be the K2SO. And a Sabine. And we'll see if Vika decides to claim here or be greedy. I think there's I think you can be greedy here. Yep, so he is greedy, plays out the vow. And then the turncoat goes to the base. And I think from this point, Vika claims. Now bringing Anakin to... six power. Or 7 power, right? +1 for every 5 damage. There are 15. 3 instances of 5. So he's a 7/7. It looks like Vika actually goes for base there with that interceptor. Eroth's got a lot of his reach here. He's got the Cassian and the Surprise Strike and the Sneak Attack. What more could you want? On Vika's side, he keeps drawing units, although he did draw a Perilous Position this turn, which is a removal card that could help him from staving off death. Here, right now he's facing just on board 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. That's one short of enough to win, but with the Surprise Strike, that is enough. So if Vika doesn't have an answer, that will be over. How much damage does Vika have enough to win this turn? I think he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then whatever Anakin's at. Yeah, that's already enough, even not counting Anakin. So here's a surprise strike, and it looks like it is just going to kill the Anakin. And Vika's now forcing Eroth to act on the defensive, which I think shows that he's doing something right. Yeah, Vika has lots of like more or less equivalent plays he can make here, and this is one of them. Clears that Val. No clear targets to give it to. I think it should be 1 more damage to the base. Yeah. I was going to say playing Luke on Sabine would have had effectively the same effect, and the Interceptor taking out the Turncoat would have blocked a little bit less damage, but it would have guaranteed the draw. Alright, looks like now that we've resolved that extra overwhelm damage, we should be ready to get going. I think we're going to see a Cassian from Eroth. Or is that a hotshot blaster? Yeah, that's just as big. It's gonna be 5. Ooh, it's actually. Was he intentionally going into Val? That's interesting. I guess going to kill this Cassian. All right, yes. So the Val triggers. So if you don't know, Val has an ability that does. She has when defeated, your opponent gets to deal 3 damage to a unit you control, and also you get to give an experience to. Is it 1 or 2 experience tokens to a unit? So here, Eroth is saying, "I'm attacking your guy. Our when defeated triggers happen. I'm going to choose to trigger mine first." Which means I get to deal the damage because that's the bounty before you are able to resolve any of your post-resolve abilities, and therefore what he's doing makes sense. And there's going to be Luke. And I think Eroth is just going to call it here. Even though he had a bunch of stuff on the board, he just was not able to turn that corner. Especially now with the Luke down. Very few ways to remove a unit in this deck. I just marked Eroth the winner, but he's not. There we go. I guess we can take a look at sideboards real quick. This is Eroth's. He's got some more pumps. He's got hand control, upgrade control, outmaneuvers in there. Ahsoka's in there. Interesting. Against a matchup like this, I don't know what you want. Maybe you want hand control. Maybe you want more pumps. I don't think you want Ahsoka or outmaneuver. And on Vika's side, he's got 2 copies of Vigilance, which I think are going to come in for this matchup. And maybe, I don't know, I don't know if Pillage comes in or if Fel does, but I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Especially because he's already got 2 in the main. I don't think you want to bring in the 3rd. Pillage is maybe, though. Sometimes Pillage can help you win against these decks, but oftentimes you want to be using your 4 resources to deal with their units, and Pillage doesn't actually do that. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It's like we're getting about ready for game 2. All right, yep. And we're shuffling up, and it looks like Unmasking the Conspiracy came in for Eroth here. And this is a pretty solid start for Eroth. He's got the A-Wing. He's got some follow-up plays. I like this. There's a Vigilance in Vika's hand. It looks like we might see a resource, though. Vika did not open a 2-drop here. He's got a couple good 3s, but no 2-drop. All right. So Vika's got, for the next turn, it looks like he's going to resource his duplicate open fire and this perilous position, which means he can respond to an A-Wing in a couple different ways next turn with either interceptors or open fire just to clear it. And yep, it is going to be that A-Wing that is the turn 1 play for Eroth. And I'm interested to see what play Vika makes here. The open fire is safer, but the interceptor's play is more fun and greedy and kind of cool if it goes off, but who knows if it will. And there are the interceptors taking the slightly greedy play. There's not really like a huge punish for it. Like, I mean, Fleet Lieutenant trades into it, but if you're Vika, you're fine taking these 1-for-1 trades early in the game and building up card advantage for later. That's what he did last game, and I think it's a solid game plan this time around. We do see in Eroth's hand that Plo Koon hasn't come up yet in this match, but it may this game could be fun. And Vika is going to go for K2. And that's going to basically eat up his turn, sorry. He's going to have like a big thing to present next turn to deal with some of the threats coming out of Eroth. But he is sort of hemorrhaging damage here. And what's going to be the play here? Is it going to be Falcon or is it going to be double 2-drops? Next turn, Plo Koon can be the play, and that's going to be great. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, double 2-drops. It looks like no R2 ability, which makes sense. Both those cards in hand are really good. You want to keep both of them. And more pumps picked up for our Sabine player. You know how Vika earlier said that I was basically asleep? It wasn't true then, but I think it is now. I am fading fast. Vika is going to take out that Fleet Lieutenant with the K2 attack, leaving the K2 alive to trade into something another day, potentially. This is one situation where the Luke deck or the Anakin deck is definitely lacking over Han. Han here could cheat out a Sentinel on 5, which sort of made losing ramp less damaging. There's the Interceptor in space. Eroth has dealt a lot of damage here, more so than he had at this point in the last game, I believe, which puts him in a pretty solid position. But he is going to, by attacking the space, he is going to make that Anakin massive when he flips. He would flip as a +3/+3 right now. Looks like Eroth's taking a bit on this resource decision. Goes for the A-Wing. It's not going to be super useful here with this 8/2 Interceptor being able to hit for 4 on attack. They need me for anything? No. Oh, we just got the trademark Vika. Though. Which means he's thinking about how to proceed. He's got options, one of which is dropping this OB now. I'm trying to think what the punishes are for that. Plo Koon is kind of a big one. I just want you definitely have to respect the Plo Koon. Be able to come in and ambush for 6 because coordinates turned on. All right, there we go. Vika makes a move here. It is going to be this OB1. And yeah, it looks like Vika was just taking a while to think. I was like, is there something going on? Did I miss anything? But no, Just Vika taking a while to think things through, which is totally okay. There's no time limit here. This is also the Anakin flip turn, and he is going to be pretty massive. But Vika's also not done hardly any damage to Eroth's base. So the massive Anakin isn't as big of a deal as it was in the last game. Vika's definitely behind here on damage by 13. So he does have to catch up. It's not impossible to do. But it's going to be harder to play both roles, essentially, like he did last game of being the aggro and the control. And it's going to be Surprise Strike here. Not going for the Plo Koon to take out this Obi-Wan, sorry. And Obi-Wan... oh no, it's K2, not Anakin. I was going to say, if Anakin's already out, yeah, it's kind of ironic that Obi-Wan's giving his experience tokens to her. But we're just going to see them given to either the Interceptor or K2. It doesn't really matter for the Interceptor. Maybe it matters a little bit for K2. Because if K2 gets the experience now, he can survive some attacks that he couldn't survive before. And the target is going to be the Speed Leader. Makes sense. No overwhelm here, just the damage. R2 on a base, bringing Vika up to exactly 19, which is sort of where you want to have them at if you're the Sabine player, because you don't want the Anakin at 20, so it just gets a little bit more massive. What was going on there? Okay, looks like, yeah, Anakin went into the Cassian. I think there was some confusion over which unit attacked Cassian and which unit had already attacked somewhere else. Now, Eroth does have initiative here, which means he can do Plo Kotoya things. There's got to be a way to shorten that. To Ploya? All right. Eroth's taking his time in the resource decisions too. It does not suit me well at this moment to be sitting and watching 2 minutes of doing nothing. All right. There's Plo. Going to ambush into that Anakin. Show that it's never going to happen. And now the Mighty Cole powered K2SO that backs the economy is going to clean out that Sabine, and we should have the trigger from the lightsaber. Yes. All right, here comes Anakin. Just gonna clear that R2, and just like that, folks, we're back where we were game one, with Eroth getting out to a false lead and then just crumbling in the late game. Reminds me of something else that's happening, but we shouldn't talk about that. Vika's got lethal on board here, and Eroth's got no way to stop it. So Vika taking it down quickly into here. 1 Sabine down, 3 to go. Actually, one of them is going to get knocked out by the other Sabine, so 2 to go. And we'll have someone new win this. 2 Bobas to go also. All right, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to go get some sleep. It's been wonderful. Always remember to take the